ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם שהכל נהיה בדברו. We find ourselves in a period in the Jewish calendar known as Bein HaMetzarim. We are in between two important dates in the Jewish calendar. One is Shiva Asar B'Tammuz, which commemorates the fact that the wall around the city of Jerusalem was pierced. That was the beginning of the destruction. 3 weeks followed until the Beit HaMikdash went up in flames and totally destroyed on the date known as Tisha B'Av. Both the first Beit HaMikdash built by King Solomon and the second Beit HaMikdash that was started in the time of Zerubbabel after the end of the Babylonian exile of some people at least, that Beit HaMikdash was also destroyed on that same date in the Jewish calendar. This same date of Tisha B'Av is the date when the spies gave that negative report about the land of Israel. Moses had sent explorers, one member representing each tribe, 12 of them, but 10 came back with a very negative report saying that it was impossible to conquer the land. So at that time, God said, when the Jewish people started crying, why did you take us here to die in the desert? He said, now we have no reason to cry, but in the future, this date will give you reasons to cry, because the two Batei Mikdash, the first and second temple, were destroyed on that date. Rabbi Norman Lamb, who was president of Yeshiva University, reminds us of a midrash that says the following: Kol ma she'ira le'adam, ira le'Israel. Everything that happened to the first man, Adam HaRishon, same thing happened to the Jewish people. Just like God placed Adam in the Garden of Eden, in Gan Eden, God took us to the land of Israel and placed us there. And just like Adam received an instruction from God, and the instruction was, you remember, don't eat from a certain fruit. The Jewish people received an instruction from God at Mount Sinai. It was a multiple instruction, 613 mitzvot. And just like Adam disobeyed that mitzvah, so our ancestors disobeyed also what the Torah taught. And that is why, in the case of Adam, he was expelled from the Garden of Eden. In the case of the Jewish people, we were expelled from the land of Israel. The Batei Mikdash, the two temples, were destroyed on the same date as I mentioned, the 9th of Av. It says about Adam, Konen, God really laments what happened to Adam with the word Ayeka, because God called out in the Garden of Eden, Ayeka, where are you, Adam? Adam was actually hiding. He thought he could hide from the presence of God. But God says, Ayeka, where are you? How is it possible that you should think that I, who knows everything, who is everywhere, won't know where you are at this point? The same lament God makes about the Jewish people, but instead of using the word Ayeka, he uses the word Eicha, which means, how is this possible? In a sense, Ayeka and Eicha are the same thing, because in Hebrew they are spelled with the same letters, just that the punctuation is different, the pronunciation is different. But the two words are really the same. In the case of Adam, he thought he could hide from God. In case of the Jewish people, they thought that God is concentrated in the Beit HaMikdash. There is where God is. But outside of the Beit HaMikdash, you can really do whatever you want. So maybe the Beit HaMikdash was really, in some form, euphemistic. It was really a jail for God, to contain God. Here is where your domain is. But outside, we can do whatever we want. And that was a tremendous mistake, of course, of our ancestors. The prophet already said, Lama li rov zivchechem, God says, why do you multiply all the sacrifices? That's not what I want. I want you to behave the way a human being is supposed to behave. I want you to do the things that I instructed you in Mount Sinai to do. So maybe the destruction of the Beit HaMikdash is the effort of God to get out of the confines of a building and to tell the Jewish people, I am everywhere, not only in this place. This is what God had said actually in the desert. Ve'asu li mishkan, you will erect a tabernacle for me. Ve'shachanti betocham, I am going to reside within you, not in any building. I'm going to be with you wherever you are. So maybe Tisha B'Av really commemorates the fact that we try to circumscribe God just to a building. When we go out into the world, whether we go into the business world or whatever activity we have to know that God has to come with us. It is not only in the synagogue, it is not only on the holiday that we have to behave in a certain way, but actually God permeates the entire universe, the entire world in which we operate every day. So maybe the third Beit HaMikdash is going to be rebuilt when we realize and we demonstrate through our actions that we are conscious that God is with us at all times, not only in a certain geographic area, but everywhere, whenever we do anything, whenever we behave, and how we relate toward our fellow men, then God is going to allow us to rebuild the third Beit HaMikdash.